As you know, the coronavirus has spread to countries across the world. And one of the worst hit countries in the world today is Iran. And one of the reasons is because ground zero in Iran is the holy city of Qom. There, it's an annual destination for 20 million Shiite pilgrims. And it's a home to 50 seminaries and a shrine and a major Shiite Islamic theological center. Now, with ritual piety taking precedence over hygiene, it's been the custom for generations for the pilgrims to kiss holy spaces, walls, floors, holy shrines. And this custom is suspected of being a factor in the spread of the virus. And these pilgrims have now returned to places across the Middle East. Yet people are still entering and leaving the city. The Iranian regime announced it has no intention of closing off the city. Why? Because it's a powerful symbol of the Islamic regime's fatalistic resignation that argues that everything, even an epidemic, is in the hands of God. If you're destined to be affected, there's nothing you can do. It's not worth taking basic hygienic precautions. To prove this, some defiant Iranians have shared videos on social media in which they're actually licking shrines even more now throughout the country. The videos are shocking and really gross. Now, addressing the virus, one of the major religious leaders in that holy city took to his followers on social media to denounce Western medicine as un-Islamic. He then offered alternatives to fighting the coronavirus, including burning wild rue, a Middle Eastern plant, and eating massive amounts of brown sugar. His final tip, I'm not making this up, he advised all people before bedtime to drench a cotton ball in violet oil and then apply that cotton ball into an opening of your body that I can't mention in synagogue. I wish I was joking. I wish this was a pre-Purim joke, but unfortunately I'm not. My friends, I promise you that if the coronavirus, God forbid, gets out of hand here in Houston, I will not advise you to take a cotton ball and drench it in violet oil and put it in an opening of your body. But as we know, there are cases happening here now in Houston and throughout the country. And we as Jews, as most people in the Western world, are not part of fatalistic traditions, including our Muslim friends throughout the world. We believe in a God who expects us to take realistic and sensible steps to save lives. And there are some very basic steps we can take that can really make a difference. But it may seem that some people are holding back, not preparing, because they think there's just too much to do. It seems too daunting of a task. And some feel that, you know, if I get the disease, it's fairly mild. I'm not at a big risk. So why do anything at all? What can I do that will really make a difference? I'm here this morning to tell you that each and every one of us can make a difference. We should prepare, not because we may feel personally at risk, but so we can help lessen the risk for others, especially the most vulnerable in our society. We should prepare not because we're facing a doomsday scenario out of control, but because each of us can lessen the risk that we face as a society. Preparing for the global spread of the virus is actually one of the most Jewish steps you can take, because the Talmud teaches us that health issues demand greater diligence than any other issue in our tradition. Our rabbis teach us that we must do whatever is necessary to help keep everyone healthy and well. To prepare for the coronavirus is a mitzvah, a great mitzvah. Now, over the last several days, I have studied more about disease control than I ever hoped to learn. But here's one thing that I learned, that our goal as a society is to do what's called flattening the curve. What does flattening the curve mean? It means for all of us to respond in positive ways to create an atmosphere where the coronavirus is less likely to spread. Yes, how common or how much a virus can spread depends on the characteristics of the pathogen. But our response can be even a bigger difference. It can make a big difference. A good response from every single one of us can flatten the curve. And the spread of the virus depends greatly on how we encounter one another, especially right now. How well we quarantine individuals who are ill, our basic hygiene. All these factors are under our control. For example, in 2003, it was the world's response that made sure that disease died out from the earth before it could kill tens of thousands of people. By slowing down the transmission of the disease, flattening its curve, we may be able to save lives. And even if the same amount of people eventually get sick, there's a better chance that not everyone will show up at the hospital all at once. Plus, if we can flatten the curve, there will be more time to develop a vaccine. Our actions can save lives. For the elderly or for people of other diseases, this virus is very serious. If we're not careful, amongst this population, God forbid, death rates could skyrocket. The coronavirus is also a great threat to health workers who handle people with the virus every single day. Therefore, it is paramount that each of us do our part. It is a mitzvah. So here are some steps each of us can take. No matter our age, no matter where we live, no matter what we do for a living, there are some basic steps we can all take. Number one, following basic cleanliness guidelines. Do wash your hands with soap and water. Wash them a lot. Of course, using hot water is preferred, but it's really about the duration of how long you wash your hands. You should wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. They say it's about the time to recite the ABCs or sing happy birthday. So feel free to sing while you wash. And if people think you're weird for doing so, tell them Rabbi Strauss said it was okay. Number two, if soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer that contains at least 60% alcohol. Number three, when you cough or sneeze, use a tissue, your sleeve, your elbow, at this time, not your hands. And avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Clean and disinfect frequently touch objects and surfaces a lot and often, many times a day. Your phone, tablets, computers, doorknobs, keyboards. Common household products are fine, and they've actually proven very effective in preventing the spread of the disease. The CDC is recommending that if you're healthy, don't wear a face mask. Face masks may not protect you, and in fact, when used, if you're healthy, they can inadvertently make you ill. During this situation, like most synagogues across the country, we're actually asking people to refrain from kissing the Torah. It's hard. We love the Torah. We want to show our love. But now it's better to show our love by not kissing the Torah. We're also asking you not to kiss, hug, or shake hands with other people. Instead, wave, do an elbow bump, a bump with your feet. It's a little weird, but some people are doing that even. It feels weird. But now's the time to just say hi. And it's hard. For the time being, I won't be shaking hands, hugging, or kissing others when I see you at shul. And it is hard. I've loved seeing so many of you every week here at synagogue. But as in the letter to our congregation stated earlier this week, I'm asking all of you right now to do the same. Number two, Jewish law is clear. One must stay home and not go to synagogue, even if you feel just a little sick. And this applies to even those observing a Yurtzeit and saying Mourner's Kaddish. A person, according to our tradition, may not leave the house. This policy is in tune with Jewish law if they're sick, because they may endanger other people's lives. And that idea that if you're sick, especially right now, and you can endanger other people, that takes precedence over every single mitzvah, even saying Kaddish for a loved one. Number 3, please know that we're doing everything we can here at Beth Yeshurun to keep our synagogue and our schools as clean as possible. Our facility is cleaned every single day, and we're increasing those amount of cleanings. Hand sanitizer is now found throughout our building. Just yesterday, we installed 6 new hand sanitizing stations. Wash them a lot. Wash those hands. We made it very easy for you. Number 4, when talking to our precious children and grandchildren, be calm and measured. Explain to them that as a society, we are on top of this. Things may get worse before they get better, but they will get better. And as children, they're, thank God, not as susceptible to this virus. And even if they get it, they're very likely to quickly recover. All will be okay in the end. They need our reassurance right now more than ever. We need to show them that we're confident that in the end, we will be okay. And that brings me to the last step, and perhaps the most important step of all, our psychological preparation. This is a scary time. This is something in our day and age with social media and a media culture that likes to drive up ratings by scaring us. True, we may be more scared than we should be, but the reality is that the spread of this virus is very serious and could create a significant disruption to our lives. If you're experiencing some fright right now, some paranoia, it's understandable. It isn't silly or unreasonable to be concerned. It's part of the normal process of coming to grips with such a significant problem. And experts tell you that it's actually a good thing to make steps now, to take steps now, to be overly concerned. It actually helps to be a little psychologically prepared for the possibility that life could be different for a period of time. We may see more and more cancellations, like what happened yesterday in Austin. For the 34th year, South by Southwest was scheduled to start later this week. It was canceled for the very first time. $500 million worth of losses to the city of Austin. God forbid we may see more cancellations. The rodeo, rocket games without audiences, and God forbid, even synagogue life without allowing people to come. I hope it doesn't get to that point. I don't think it will, but we need to prepare for the possibility. And that preparation now psychologically can help us get over the surprise before it happens. Because experts will teach us and have taught us that going through those possible disruptions now and making plans for them before the crisis is full-blown is more conducive to rational responses now before going through it mid-crisis. So be forgiving of yourself if you or your loved ones are having a difficult time right now. The spread of the coronavirus could be genuinely disruptive, difficult, and for some, very dangerous. Taking real steps to mitigate the effects it will have on you and your family isn't a silly thing to do. It's the responsible thing to do. Let us follow the guidelines that our CDC and experts put out before us, that our elected leaders expect of us, and for us as Jews, what our tradition demands of us. It is a mitzvah to take steps now to protect ourselves, protect our loved ones, and most importantly, to flatten that curve, to make it less likely that other people, especially vulnerable people in our society, are less likely to develop the coronavirus. It is a mitzvah to prepare for the virus. Shabbat shalom, everybody.